our context for Indonesia, we kind of an introduction of the internationalization of higher education. So I believe that there will be many questions. I mean, like at least in your thoughts, what's this, why, something like that. But we are going to introduce how English and the internationalization in Indonesian higher education. So my name is Nurmala. I'm already introduced by Rima, and in this session that we are going to share about Indonesian higher education, English language education in Indonesia, and in the internationalization of higher education, and a brief overview, because Nicola just mentioned that you already introduced the project, but it is just one slide about our project that we were working at still, and the project in 2023. So I think that it is important to introduce that Indonesian higher education have two mainstreams, because I found out when I introduce vocational, I need to explain with several or one, at least two paragraphs what vocational means here. So in Indonesia, there are two streams, academics and vocational, with the characteristic mainly focus on academic and vocational. Academic in terms of university and institute, and vocational is in the forms of Politeknik or vocational schools. So English language education, which is more elaborated by Indonesian education context coordinators, Frida and Sri Lestari later on. So it is a kind of introduction. In Indonesia, English language education, it is considered as EFL, and at the school level currently that our minister is really not ambitious, but really think that English is really important for Indonesian citizens. So since in the school now that even, if I may say, that English is recommended, even compulsory since primary school, with the wording, if the school has no English teacher, the English content can be put in other possible subject, meaning like mathematics or science. At the higher level, English is compulsory. It is a non-core subject in non-English language faculty and a core subject in the faculty of English. So in vocational higher education, which is the focus, mostly the focus of our talk today, is ESE is considered or adopted mostly by the lecturers. So Nizam will continue about the internationalization of higher education in Indonesia. Please go ahead, Pak Nizam.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Nurmala. Okay, as like another countries, that the globalization in Indonesia is also driven by the globalization. The idea of making the university being more globalized, reputable university, attract the Ministry of Education in Indonesia to release a decree about the key performance indicators for Indonesian higher education to be more globalized. The four most aspect related to the internationalization of higher education, among others, the quality of higher education graduate student mobility exchange. They provide some funds to send the students to have mobility programs. And then also the government provide funding for increasing the quality of the staffs, the lecturers, to have more collaborative research, publication, and conferences overseas. And also the quality of the curriculum and learning is also developed, enhanced, usually because one of the program is to have double degree. So the government allows the university to create their or to modify their curriculum to be more internationally attractive. And then the most important thing, most of the state university are encouraged to have their international accreditation. And most institutions who did this accreditation are coming from the English-speaking countries. So therefore, they need to adapt the regulation, adapt the documentation about these internalizations. And when we talk about the practice of English and internalization in higher education in Indonesia, there are some forms that are established by the universities. In the level of bachelor degree, because they offer dual degree and single degree, the program is well known as International Undergraduate Program for the universities or for the academics institutions. While in the vocational higher education, the names, the forms can be called the International Class Program or ICP. When the university are not really ready to commence the international program, they also provide so-called bilingual classes. So this class is a kind of a preparation class for both teachers and students, so they can practice their English before they are ready to carry out the real international program. Beside from the institutional degree, there are some also non-degree programs like credit transfer, student exchanges, and summer courses. So all of these are provided by, encouraged and provide fundings from the government. So the effort of the governments and the universities to make the Indonesian higher education institution to be more globalized are very strong. And then the second dimension of the practice is the policy, because when we talk about the English and higher education, it cannot be separated from the policy. And in the micro level, in the from the government point of view, when a university trying to establish the international program, so they need to, the government asks the university to use English in this program, English only. However, in the reality, in the classroom discourse, one of my findings of my dissertation is that the teacher or the lecturers do not really comply with this policy, because when they are in the real situation in their classroom, they found that some problems. For example, the students are not really ready to have class, to have learning, teaching fully in English. Therefore, the teacher in their autonomy in the classroom, they adapt, they try to modify, and then even they try to use some strategies in using both English and our national language, Bahasa Indonesia. And then the last one is the challenges. As I mentioned earlier, both the teachers and lecturers have a symmetrical English proficiency. Some are very good, some of them are not really good. but some of them are insufficient. So this situation make the class will be very struggling. And then also the access for the teachers to teacher professional development resources and availability of the resources are limited. This situation make the Indonesian EMI teachers have very strong effort to make their capacity building. So therefore, and also there are no, if there are resources, for example, with MOOC, but the resources are not really user friendly. For example, the MOOCs are very long. They do not really engage with the MOOC. They do not really accustomed to the MOOC, and therefore the MOOC is one of the solution, yeah, for providing teachers professional development for Indonesian EMI teachers, especially for this MOOC project will be again delivered by Dr. Nurmala, because this is part of the UK Indonesian project to have EMI need analysis to develop Indonesian and teachers EMI Indonesia higher education.
Okay, thank you, Pak Nizam. So as Nizam mentioned just now, that actually in this moment of the first conference of ELINET, so we are going to introduce the current project that we are in at the moment, and one of them is done or is being done with Nicola. So at this chance that we would like to say thank you for the chance for a great learning to collaborate and still collaborating, of course. So what Nizam presents about the challenges, this is the reason, I mean, like the background that we choose the topic for the project funded by the British Council by focusing the design of teacher professional development for EMI and EAP, or English language teachers at vocational higher education. So this is roughly, as I said, that it is just very brief, that this is the project, as I mentioned, that it is to develop our kind of training based on the teachers' need and the outcomes. There are 3 outcomes. If you can see here, infrastructure, capacity, and community, much related to what Nicola mentions at the first time, I mean, like at the beginning of this conference. So this is a part of, or if we can say, a branch in Indonesia. So we really need community. We need to develop or improve the capacity. And our team here, I need to introduce the team. Yeah, maybe some of you have seen. I can see that some of the workshop that we had last month already also attend this conference. So in our team, there are 5 persons. Yeah, and this is the project stages. It is a very long, as Nicola said, that maybe it is kind of a big project and it is ongoing. Why I need to show this, I hope that most of us here are curious and then look forward to the updates that we will be accessible in ELINET Indonesian education context. I won't explain more or give descriptions, more details in this stage due to the time limit. And one last slide from us, that our current project, and again that it is very, if I may say that, fertile soil in Indonesia, that EMI is everywhere, including in Indonesia. So in 2022, Indonesian government sends at least from Indonesian vocational higher education, more than 400 students to have one semester study overseas in 8 countries. And Nizam or got maybe like his proposal approved by his university, and then we plan to study on this what is it, the students' experience when learning in Indonesia, if we may say here, English-speaking country on non-English speaking countries EMI classroom. So we adopt the instrument from Evans and Morrison, and also the instrument, this instrument already validated by some people in ELINET. So this is kind of like very dynamic and also synchronized and integrated to each other. So we learn more, and then we really keen on using and developing and improving the other instrument in our research context. So this is going to be done in 2022. Hopefully, maybe, yeah, Nizam will share this maybe on the next conference. And for Indonesian education context will be presented by Sri Lestari and Frida. Please, Bu Tari, the screen is yours. Ibu Tari?
It should the use of English for its school unit in Indonesia. So from the grade 4, and then moved to 2009 until 2013, Indonesian government initiated to open international schools in secondary schools, yeah, here, or EMI pilot project state-run schools until 2013. And here, English is used as a medium of instruction to teach science and mathematics subject. And then in 2013, we have curriculum in KTSP, means that the school unit has opportunity to regulate their own curriculum, and English is used as the subject, yeah, as the compulsory subject, especially also in a primary school. And then in 2015, we also have English is used as a compulsory subject in schools, yeah, and also in higher education. English is considered as the medium of instruction. And also in 2021, the government initiated the program of freedom of learning for university, that English is very recommended as the compulsory to introduce content subject in primary education also. Yeah, dealing with the establishment of EMI in Indonesia, as explained previously, that the government of Indonesia issued the regulation in 2020 dealing with the use of English as a medium of instruction in universities level, and also to welcoming the use of to welcoming internationalization in university level. The Ministry of Education also issued a decree dealing with the key performance indicator, that one of them is about internationalization of education in universities. So that's why each university in Indonesia, many universities in Indonesia take a part to open EMI program in the university. And based on our searching in website taken from Universities of Indonesia, we have about 37 university running EMI program. And it is the picture of our Indonesia, consisting of thousands of islands, and the spread of universities and which run EMI As the internationalization implementation, yeah, we can see there are some dots here, and mostly it is in the Java Islands. And it is interesting to note that the government gave a flexible autonomy to each university to run EMI program, because the government hasn't issued a documentary policy yet, so that each university again has a freedom to manage their own implementation, regulation, and management system dealing with the EMI based on the readiness of the stakeholders, the student, and also the teachers to run the program. Okay, I think that's all from us about the implementation of EMI in Indonesian context. And thank you. Good afternoon from Indonesia.
Thank you so much, Frida, for such an informative introduction of the Indonesian context. And thank you so much also for the presentation.